Little Women is Gillian Armstrong's adaptation of Louisa May Alcott's beloved Civil War-era novel about the four March sisters, Jo, Meg, Beth, and Amy, coming of age in Concord, Massachusetts while their father is away at war and their mother, Marmee, holds the household together. It was the fifth time the story had been brought to the screen. It was shepherded almost entirely by women, director, screenwriter, and producer alike, and it earned 3 Academy Award nominations. But look closely at that ensemble and you find one of the most loaded young casts of the decade. So where did they all end up? Winona Ryder plays Jo March, the fierce, ink-stained, aspiring writer at the heart of the story, the sister who chops off her hair, refuses the boy everyone expects her to marry, and insists on a life bigger than the one her era has planned for her. Ryder didn't just star in this film, she made it happen. Little Women had languished in development for years, and it was Ryder, then one of the hottest young actresses in Hollywood, attaching herself to Jo that finally got it greenlit. Winona Ryder was born Winona Laura Horowitz on the 29th of October 1971 in Winona County, Minnesota, and named for the town of her birth. Her father was a rare book dealer and archivist close to Allen Ginsberg and Timothy Leary. Leary was her godfather. She was discovered as a teenager and cast by Tim Burton in Beetlejuice, then became the defining actress of her generation across Heathers, Edward Scissorhands, and Bram Stoker's Dracula. She came to Little Women on an extraordinary run, a Best Supporting Actress nomination for The Age of Innocence in 1993, the Gen X Touchstone Reality Bites in 1994, and then Jo March, which earned her a second consecutive Oscar nomination, this time for Best Actress. She has said Little Women remains one of the few films of her own she can actually sit and watch. After Little Women, Winona Ryder's career took one of the most dramatic falls and recoveries in modern Hollywood. In December 2001, she was arrested for shoplifting at Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills. The conviction and the media circus effectively exiled her from leading roles for years. She rebuilt slowly through supporting parts in Star Trek and Black Swan before Stranger Things handed her the comeback almost no one saw coming, playing frantic, loving mother Joyce Byers across the Netflix phenomenon from 2016 through its 5th and final season, which concluded at the end of 2025. She reprised Lydia Dietz in Beetlejuice in 2024, and in early 2026 was announced for a guest role in the 3rd season of Wednesday, extending her decades-long partnership with Tim Burton. She is 54 years old as of July 2026. Christian Bale plays Laurie. Theodore Lawrence, the wealthy, lonely, music-loving boy next door who falls hopelessly for Jo, is turned down and eventually finds his way to her sister Amy. Bale was 20 during filming, fresh off Disney's Newsies, with a baby face and a head of floppy hair that made him an instant object of adolescent devotion for an entire generation of viewers. Ryder herself championed him for the part after seeing his breakout as a boy in Empire of the Sun. And in one of the great small coincidences of the shoot, it was Ryder who introduced Bale to Cibi Blazich, the woman he would marry in 2000 and remain with ever since. Christian Bale was born on the 30th of January 1974 in Haverford, West Wales, and did a television commercial at 8 before Steven Spielberg cast him as the lead child in Empire of the Sun in 1987, a performance so intense it nearly overwhelmed him with early fame. He spent the years after Little Women transforming himself physically and completely, from role to role, the razor-edged yuppie of American Psycho, the skeletal insomniac of The Machinist, and then the definitive modern Batman across Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. After Little Women, Christian Bale became one of the most acclaimed and committed actors of his era. He won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for The Fighter in 2010, and earned further nominations for American Hustle, The Big Short, and his startling turn as Dick Cheney in Vice. He remains relentlessly busy. He stars in Maggie Gyllenhaal's Frankenstein reimagining The Bride, released in early 2026, and plays Raiders owner Al Davis opposite Nicolas Cage in the John Madden biopic Madden, with a long gestating Heat 2 also in the works. The boy who couldn't win Jo March's heart became one of the few genuine chameleons in the business. He is 52 years old as of July 2026. Kirsten Dunst plays the younger Amy March, the vain, artistic, occasionally infuriating baby of the family, the one who burns Jo's manuscript in a fit of jealousy and delivers some of the film's most quotable childhood cruelty. Dunst was 12, and she is very nearly the reason people remember young Amy at all. It was the same year she stole Interview with the Vampire out from under Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt as the child vampire Claudia. Amy is unusual in that 2 actresses play her, Dunst as a child, Samantha Mathis as an adult, because the filmmakers filmmakers decided no single performer could span the age range convincingly. Kirsten Dunst was born on the 30th of April, 1982 in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, to a German father who worked for Siemens and a mother who worked for Lufthansa. She was a working child model and actor before Little Women, and she never really stopped, moving from Jumanji to the cheerleading comedy Bring It On to Mary Jane Watson in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, which made her a global star. After Little Women, Kirsten Dunst quietly became one of the most respected actresses of her generation, favoring bold directors over blockbusters. She won Best Actress at Cannes for Lars von Trier's Melancholia in 2011, earned an Oscar nomination for Jane Campion's The Power of the Dog in 2021, and led Alex Garland's dystopian Civil War in 2024 as a hardened war photographer. On the set of Fargo, she met actor Jesse Plemons. The two were both nominated for Oscars for The Power of the Dog, married in 2022, and have 2 sons. She has art house projects filming, including a Sofia Coppola collaboration and a mermaid thriller opposite Mikey Madison. She is 44 years old as of July 2026. Claire Danes plays Beth March, the shy, gentle, piano-playing sister whose kindness and fragility give the film its most heartbreaking arc. Little Women arrived as Danes was becoming the great teenage discovery of the mid-1990s, having just broken through on the short-lived but adored series My So-Called Life. There's a piece of set lore attached to her time on the film. While filming a scene walking up a staircase carrying a candle, her hair actually caught fire, a startling moment on an otherwise gentle production. Claire Danes was born on the 12th of April, 1979, in Manhattan, the daughter of artistic parents, and was already a preternaturally mature performer by her mid-teens. After Little Women, she played Juliet opposite Leonardo DiCaprio in Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet in 1996, then spent the following years alternating film and stage work while earning a reputation as one of the most technically gifted actresses of her age. After Little Women, Claire Danes reached a new peak on television. She won 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, 1 for the HBO film Temple Grandin, and 2 for her portrayal of bipolar CIA Officer Carrie Matheson across 8 seasons of Homeland, one of the defining prestige dramas of the 2000s. She earned further acclaim for Fleischman is in Trouble in 2022, and in late 2025 led the Netflix psychological thriller The Beast in Me opposite Matthew Rhys, a series that drew 9 Emmy nominations and another nod for Danes herself. She has been married to actor Hugh Dancy since 2009, and they have 3 children. She is 47 years old as of July 2026. Susan Sarandon plays Marmee, Mrs. March, the moral center of the household, the mother raising 4 daughters alone while their father is at the front, teaching them a quietly radical philosophy of independence and dignity. Sarandon was the most established screen presence on the film, and she brought a warmth and steel to Marmee that anchored the young cast around her. Susan Sarandon was born Susan Abigail Tomlin on the 4th of October 1946 in New York City, the eldest of 9 children. A former Ford model, she made her film debut in 1970 and built one of the most fearless careers of her generation: The Rocky Horror Picture Show, Atlantic City, Bull Durham, Thelma and Louise, and The Client, the last of which earned her one of her 5 Academy Award nominations. She filmed Little Women the same year she was competing for Oscars, and the very next year she finally won for playing Sister Helen Prejean in Dead Man Walking. After Little Women, Susan Sarandon remained a constant working screen actress and one of Hollywood's most outspoken political activists. Her recent credits include the comedy The Fabulous Four, the food drama Nonas, and the Tribeca premiere The Accompanist in 2026, and she was named the recipient of Spain's 2026 International Goya Award for her body of work. She has spoken publicly about roles becoming harder to come by after her vocal stance on the war in Gaza, though she has continued to line up independent films. She is 79 years old as of July 2026. Enjoying this look back at the Little Women cast? Take a second to hit that like button and subscribe. We release brand new Where Are They Now videos every single week. Gabriel Byrne plays Friedrich Baer, the older, kindly, impoverished German professor Joe meets in New York, who challenges her writing, wounds her pride, and ultimately becomes the love she never expected. It's a role that requires enormous gentleness to keep from seeming like a lecture, and Byrne, already a decade into a serious career, gave Baer a rumpled, soulful warmth. Gabriel Byrne was born on the 12th of May, 1950 in Dublin, Ireland, the eldest of 6 children in a working-class family. Before acting, he worked as an archaeologist and taught Spanish vanish in history. He came to the profession late in his late 20s and made up for lost time quickly. Around Little Women, he was moving through a remarkable run of films, most famously as Dean Keaton in The Usual Suspects, released in 1995, the year after this film. After Little Women, Gabriel Byrne built a career that spanned prestige film, television, and the stage. He won a Golden Globe for the HBO therapy drama In Treatment, earned 2 Tony nominations on Broadway, and appeared in Ari Aster's horror landmark Hereditary in 2018 and as Samuel Beckett in Dance First. In recent years, he has become an acclaimed author. His memoir, Walking with Ghosts, an unflinching account of his Dublin childhood, his alcoholism, and the abuse he suffered as a boy at the hands of a priest, became a book and a one-man stage show he performed internationally. He continues to work steadily in film and theater. He is 76 years old as of July 2026. Samantha Mathis plays the older Amy March, taking over the role from Kirsten Dunst as Amy grows into the poised young woman who travels to Europe, reconnects with Laurie, and marries him. Mathis had come up through the early 1990s in Pump Up the Volume and Super Mario Bros., but she carried something heavier onto this set than most of her castmates. Just 1 year before Little Women, she had been the girlfriend of River Phoenix, and she was with him on the night in October 1993 when he collapsed and died of an overdose outside the Viper Room in West Hollywood. She stayed almost completely silent about that night for 25 years. She was, in other words, quietly grieving one of the most public losses in Hollywood while playing one of its most hopeful romances. Samantha Mathis was born on the 12th of May, 1970, in Brooklyn, New York, the daughter of actress Bibi Besh. She built a durable, respected career after Little Women rather than a superstar one, with roles in Broken Arrow and American Psycho and recurring parts on The Strain and Billions. After Little Women, Samantha Mathis balanced screen and stage work while also becoming a leader within her profession. She served as a national vice president of the Actors Union SAG-AFTRA from 2015 to 2019. Her recent credits include Pet Sematary, Bloodlines, The Exorcism, and the film By Design, alongside continued New York theater work. She is 56 years old as of July 2026. Eric Stoltz plays John Brooke, Laurie's earnest tutor, who falls for the eldest March sister Meg and becomes her husband, the steady and unglamorous romance at the film's edges. What most viewers didn't know is that Stoltz had already lived through one of the most famous near misses in Hollywood history. In 1984, he was cast as Marty McFly in Back to the Future and filmed for roughly 5 weeks in the lead role, before director Robert Zemeckis decided his intense method approach didn't fit the film's comic tone. Stoltz was fired in January 1985 and replaced by Michael J. Fox. Zemeckis later called firing him the worst experience of his career. Eric Stoltz was born on the 30th of September 1961 in Whittier, California, and spent part of his childhood in American Samoa. He recovered from the Back to the Future setback almost immediately, earning a Golden Globe nomination that same year for Mask, and went on to appear in Pulp Fiction, Some Kind of Wonderful, and dozens of other films. After Little Women, Eric Stoltz gradually reinvented himself as one of television's most prolific and respected directors. He directed all 6 seasons of Madam Secretary as its directing producer, along with episodes of Glee, Grey's Anatomy, and Bull, while continuing to act on stage and screen. He has been married to Bernadette Moley since 2005 and has 1 child. He is 64 years old as of July 2026. Trini Alvarado plays Meg March, the eldest sister, the beautiful and traditional one who longs for a comfortable domestic life. Alvarado was a seasoned young performer by the time of Little Women, the daughter of a Spanish flamenco singer and a Puerto Rican flamenco dancer, who had grown up on New York stages and in films like Stella and Mrs. Soffel. Trini Alvarado was born on the 10th of January 1967 in New York City and had been acting since childhood, making her Broadway debut at 11. After Little Women, she reunited with a strong role in Peter Jackson's horror comedy The Frighteners opposite Michael J. Fox in 1996. After Little Women, Trini Alvarado largely stepped away from the screen. A self-described homebody who has always guarded her privacy, she wound down her on-camera career around the turn of the millennium and has lived quietly out of the spotlight ever since, surfacing only occasionally, such as at the TCM Classic Film Festival in 2024. She is 59 years old as of July 2026. 30 years on, Little Women stands as something rare. A film where you can watch a future Batman, a future Oscar winner, a 3-time Emmy champion, a Cannes Best Actress, and one of the great screen mothers of their era all sharing a single New England parlor before the world knew what any of them would become. Alcott wrote a story about 4 sisters figuring out who they were going to be. The people who played them were, in a very real sense, doing exactly the same thing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest Where Are They Now videos, exploring your favorite casts from the past.